here. Anyway, so I was gonna be vlogging, but today I'm really feeling exhausted. I'm here with Nazira. Say hi. Hi. So we're just sipping some coffee. What did you get? The same?
Ice caramel latte.
Oh, ice caramel latte. Okay. At La Maison du Café at Douala Grand Mall. Anyway, I've had one of those days. Went to school. Lately, I haven't been filming much when it comes to the school, but the same thing happening. Okay, kids are being kids. The staff is being the staff. Everybody is doing good. Yeah, it's good. Anyway, I did not bring the mic, otherwise I would have had more of a conversation with you guys. But then I ended up finding Nazira where she was working. Guys, so I finally got home. Today was one of those days. You know how you start the day thinking you're gonna be vlogging and then it never happened? I was just running one errand after the next, and then I also had to assist my parents and I had to drop them off, and then I had to run another errand. So let me see. Anyway, I wanted to talk to you guys about a topic. I don't know why I'm whispering. So let me get to my office, my home office, and then I'll probably elaborate more on that. Guys, so finally got home. I feel like I was never gonna get home. I mean, I don't know, there's probably a football game happening outside. If you guys can pick up the noise, I'm sorry about that. I don't have the mic, don't even know where it is, so I'm just going to be talking to you right then and there. So let me talk about this thing real quick before I undress, because it's really hot right now. This is I mean, and you guys are probably going through winter if you're probably in the Western world. It's really hot here in Cameroon. Okay, we only have 2 seasons. It's either it's raining or it's hot. So anyway, let me talk about this. I have one of my nephews who lives here, and he's I mean, I have 3 nephews that actually live with me, okay, boys. 2 of them are 20 years old, and then the little one, okay, my adopted child, if I can put it like that. But my new baby, okay, he's 7 years old. So we're not talking about him, we're talking about the recent one that started living here a couple weeks ago. So the amount of time that I had to hear from the younger generation, you know how we're younger, our parents used to be like, oh, I was working 12 kilometers to go to school every day, back and forth. And then some of my parents were like, I would leave school, I wouldn't have food at school, and then I'll come back home after walking 10 kilometers. I'll come back home, and then I will go to the farm to farm with my parents, and then I'll come back home and cook with my mom in order for me to finally eat at like maybe 6, 7 p.m. You know that story that African parents always say. I feel like it's not just African parents, but we feel like, you know, the older generation, you know, they really hustled and they paved the way for us. My mom grew up, yeah, you know, she wasn't rich, but at the same time she wasn't poor. And the same thing with my dad, he wasn't poor, but he grew up where he had to look for his own ways, you know, pave his own way. And whether he was successful or not, his family, like his parents, yeah, you know, it didn't really matter to them. So my dad was like, you know what, even though my school fees is not getting paid, I'm going to find a way to have it paid. And then he, you know, eventually became somebody, and then gave us his children, this privileged life. And I call it privilege because we didn't have to go through half of the things that they had to go through when they were younger, right? So in a nutshell, I think when we talk about generational wealth and not repeating the cycle of poverty, that's what we talk about, where we can actually get our children into a better situation than what we ourselves experience, right? I always talk about, I think it's been a while since I told you guys a story how I went to the US and how I struggled and how it was tough, it was hard, and I was alone. And I mean, there are some stories that you guys don't even know about because I don't feel like sharing that right here on social media, but it was traumatic, okay? It was traumatic. And now that I'm, you know, thinking about, you know, the children that I'm going to be raising, whether it's adopted children or my own children, I'm thinking to myself, I don't want them to go through the same hustle. I don't want them to go through the same trauma. I don't want them to experience what I've experienced. I do want them to develop like a certain level of, you know, resilience and be stronger than I am, okay? I want them to not really use the privilege as a way to be like, oh, I don't want to suffer because my mom has J's, right? Because at the end of the day, even though I'm building my own empire, it's going to be, you know, I mean, I'm probably gonna give it away to somebody else, because all of us, whether you're building hotels, whether you're doing whatever, at the end of the day, everything you worked for, you're gonna leave it to the next generation, right? So I know that for sure, but I also know that I am one of the tough people. I'm the first daughter in an African home, so you guys can already imagine how it is. So I had a lot of responsibilities on my head when I was a little child, and then I grew up with that type of, you know, persona where I always felt like I needed to be in control, I needed to be in charge. So that being said, the reason why I'm talking about this, ça va? Bien. Je me fais bisous. Mouah. C'est pas grave, je vais pas te mettre dans ma vidéo. Guys, we got interrupted for a second, okay? My nephew just walked in. Anyway, enlève les chaussures, tu mets les babouches. Tes babouches sont où, en bas? Va mettre les babouches, enlève les chaussures. Tu restes avec, c'est pas grave, reste avec. So, that being said, bye. That being said, what was I gonna say, guys? Woo! I had this conversation today with my nephew, the 20-year-old one. He's about to be 21 this year. And it's amazing how every time I talk to the 20-year-old folks, you know, I'm always amazed how easy they want their life to be. You know what? Okay, let me tell you what he said. So we're having the conversation, right? And then he said something like, Auntie, I actually want to be like you, where I work on my computer and then I have free time for the rest of the day. And then sometime at night, I do work and then I have free time for the remain. The reason why he's saying that is because, guys, I'm always working on the computer. Sometimes I don't have the time to do admin tasks during the day. So usually when people are sleeping, I'm working, okay? That's what he means by saying, oh, I would love to have your life because your life looks easy. He actually said my life looks easy. And I know when you have gotten to the level where you make it look like it's easy, it means that you have mastered it. And I know to a certain extent, even sometimes my parents feel like my life is easy. Like, I don't have to give you the full picture. My best friend, we always send voice messages on WhatsApp every single day. She's in France. And then she always reminds me how much of a break I need. She's always the one telling me, girl, you need a break. You work too much. You have so much going on. And I feel like for the first part of my stay here in Cameroon, because I came recently, because I'm always here, you guys know, but recently when I came from July all the way maybe to December, maybe to November, I want to say, it was all about the school because there was so much happening and all about, you know, construction in the village and all of that. Then I started 2025, everything became about family, okay? My cousin was really sick. She was already staying with me since beginning December. I was already taking care of her before that. Then she passed away February. Then my mom got sick. Then my dad got sick at several occasions, you know, not just once. Then now I have a nephew. Then my niece came over and so forth. And then now I have this nephew who I'm trying to help with his schooling. And it's just non-stop, right? And in addition to all the family, you know, like weight on my shoulders, I still have to show up for work. I still have to make sure that, hey, you're looking for money because something has to pay the bills. And the family crying or the family being sick or the family dying, it's not going to pay the bills. And even though I'm crying, I still have to wipe my tears and go back at 8. I still have to pick up phone calls at 6 a.m. in the morning. Still have to get up at 6 a.m. in the morning to prep my nephew now and take him to school. I mean, I don't take him to school, but my nephew does that, okay? So to a certain extent, it doesn't stop, right? Adulting is that, and that's what I was trying to explain to these boys, that adulting is responsibilities don't stop. And even when you feel like you have a break, it doesn't stop. And I'm amazed how so many of them see us like, first of all, we're already closer to 40 to our 40s than our 20s, okay? We're closer to our 40s already. I'm closer to my 40s already. So even though I'm not 40 yet, but I have lived, woo-hoo-hoo. And people don't see that, right? So when the 20-year-old are talking to me and then they're like, oh, I get inspired all the time. Last time, this young lady, she's in her 20s, mid-20s or early 20s, something like that, Nazira, she now works at Grand Mall. She's one of the managers there. I was actually hanging out with her. You guys saw her earlier. And I love talking to her because she's not a 20-something-year-old who's just like cruising, expecting that life is going to be easy. She wants to be an influencer. No, she doesn't know. She's all about the hustle. And I think the fact that her, you know, her life and everything that transpired made her that strong woman that she is today. So she is one of the exceptions. But I remember, I think it was a couple weeks ago, she took me upstairs because she used to work at that coffee shop, La Maison du Café. And then the girls who were working there was just like, oh, madam, you know, you are inspiring. Nazira said so many things about you and we admire you. You are beautiful. You are this, you are that. I felt like I had a little fan club, if I can put it like that. And I was like, oh, I appreciate it, you know, I appreciate it. But here's the thing, most of the time I've tried to hire, I mean, you guys know I have a school, so I hire people every single year. I had a boutique, so I hired people every single year for social media management, for marketing, for as a store manager, and all of these things. I kept on hiring people, and most of the people I was hiring for my store were people that were in the 20s, because they should be the one, you know, up to date with technology, what's going on social media, and they should be the one knowing how to advertise certain things, or at least learn how to advertise products and services. So even my consulting firm, same thing, hired the younger one, okay? And 90% of them always talked about how easy they wanted their life to be. And it got to the point where I started hiring people and training them about, you know, life. It wasn't just me teaching you the technical skills, but actually telling you it's not going to be easy. It's not because you tried once, it didn't work out, or you tried the second time, it didn't work out. Some of us have tried 10, 20, 30 times and it still did not work out. And we are still not giving up. So before somebody sees you right now at your chapter 20, you know, or making it happen, they just got to the chapter 2 and they're like, oh my god, it's so hard, I want to be like you. No, you can't. I'm sorry. There are some people who don't, I mean, I feel like there are some people who are just born with a star right here, so they don't have to make so much effort because God is just making it happen for them. I don't even know who said this, but I love how they put it. They said success is not based on how much you work. You know, for people who are like, oh, I work hard, it's based on who you know. It's based on who is actually recognizing you. Because there's people who work so hard, but they can never reach the level of being a millionaire, for example. You guys know, like everyday people working really hard, doing the tough work. But are they millionaires and billionaires? No, they're not. So, and I like it when people say, to a certain extent, they say, when somebody say you lucky, right? Luck is really opportunity meeting preparation, right? Because you have to prepare, meaning that you have to pay your dues, you have to work, you have to hustle. And I'm not talking about toxic hustling culture, okay? I'm not talking about don't sleep, hustle day and night. I'm not talking about that. You have to have a little bit of a balance, but to a certain extent, it's really you being prepared for that opportunity that is going to come. And when the opportunity show up, then you have to seize that opportunity. So when I don't know if I found the video, I'm probably going to add that clip here, but the person was basically saying, you know, being successful is not based on how much you work. It's really based on who saw you, who noticed you, because there are people who work every single day without being recognized, and there are people that as soon as they start working, somebody actually noticed them and the person is like, hey, you come here. Okay, so I was talking about, I mean, guys, I was talking to my nephew, and then the more he was saying, Tata, I want to be like you, Auntie, I want to be like you, you know, your life seems easy, I want to be able to work a little bit here, chill a little bit, blah blah blah. I've been in the game of hustling before I even got the degree. Okay, when I landed in the US, as in 2007, I was already like, okay, how am I going to be making money, right? And even though I was privileged enough to have my parents fund my school in the beginning, but I had to look for ways to make extra cash. And it wasn't easy, and it was cold. Minnesota was cold, it wasn't easy. And when you tell the youngster, when you tell them your journey, right? They're in awe because that's not what they see. I can't even tell you how many times I've talked to people, I've tried to hire the 20-year-old some. Long story short, they will start working for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, and then they will be like, Madam, it's so much work. Madam, you work too much. Madam, just and that. Madam, I thought it was going to be easy. I actually had one of the lady that she was my intern. She was supposed to be my intern for 3 months. She only lasted 1 month. And then she told me she didn't think entrepreneurship was this hard, and that she always wished to be an entrepreneur. And when she watched me online, she felt like my life was easier. But now she's realizing that it's actually not easy. The reason why I actually had to let her go is because of how much laziness. She was so lazy, guys. She was so lazy, and I was like, okay, we're not gonna go anywhere. Okay, at this rate, we're not gonna go anywhere because I'm hiring you for something, I'm paying you even though you're an intern, and then at the end of the day I still have to do half of your job. This is not, you know, like we can do that. Okay, so she lasted 1 month, she got her paycheck, and then I let her go. So My nephew, my 20-some-year-old nephew, he's about to be 21 next month, right? He basically told me the same thing. Like, he want to be like me because my life looks easy. The boy doesn't know that I don't sleep. Guys, he doesn't know that some of us actually, we're always on work mode. Even in our sleep, we're thinking, did that send just file? Okay, let me wake up early so that I can text the people on what to do before the meeting. Let me do this, let me do that. And then we're dealing with the drama of business, which means I can't even continue construction because of the drama. I have to go to court, I have to do this, I have to hire a lawyer, and blah, blah, blah. Like all of these things that we're doing behind the scene that nobody sees. And it's really unfortunate because I've tried to mentor, you know, the 20-some-year-old. And maybe right now I'm sounding like my dad and my mom back in the days when they were telling us how lazy we are and how much they had to do. And I look at myself now, the way I talk to them, and I'm like, girl, you've turned into your mom, you've turned into your dad, you know. But I think it also comes with life, because life is going to slap you left and right, and at some point you're going to have to talk that talk, because you're going to realize that the people behind you, right, they don't get it. They think everything is easy. And nowadays, because of social media, people only show the good life, okay? So everybody here, guys, you can even imagine, I'm saying it out of my heart. I'm not trying to bash the younger people. I'm not trying to say, I mean, I'm a millennial. I'm not trying to say the Gen Zs, you know, or I'm not, but I'm just saying there are many hardworking Gen Zs, there are many hardworking youngsters out here, but there are also many lazy ones, okay, who just feel like they want to be the next Etofis, they want to be the next Ngannou, they want to be the next Oprah, for example, they want to be the next Beyonce, they want to be an entrepreneur, they want to be, and they don't know what it takes to actually get there. They don't know that sometimes you have to be a waitress somewhere at a bar and work your way up in order to become an actress. Sometimes you have to sing in bars and sing in parties and blah 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 in order to be recognized, or in order to be found, right? Like somebody is going to be like, hey, you have a voice, you have a nice voice, can we actually work together? And nowadays, one thing that I wanted to share on here is just the younger people. Oh my god, maybe it's not just the younger people, because I think even older people go through that road of witchcraft. Like, in order to get a job, you need to charm the person, or you need to do some things, right? You need to do some sacrifices that are not good sacrifices, you know. We call it witchcraft, basically. I'm not going to, you know, call it different names. It's witchcraft. When you have to go to somebody who is concocting something and is telling you, in order for you to have money, bring me somebody from your family, or in order to have money, kill somebody just, in order to have money, you have to sleep with an animal or whatever, right? There is I mean, guys, there's a lot of that happening. There's so much of that happening. And unfortunately, even in some of these companies here in Cameroon, I don't know which one, don't ask me, I don't know, but that's what I've heard, and that's what some people who actually had to resign from the position told me, is that you sign the contract, right? This is employment contract. You sign the contract and then you start working, and then now they tell you you have to go into that cult, right? Because they have a cult of people who are supposed to sell and sacrifice other people in order to succeed, to get on top. So there's a lot of that happening, and people are talking every day. And even though it's not mainstream, it's not on social media, like nobody's business, but it's happening. It is happening, where people feel like, I don't have to work too much, I can just go to this man, he does witchcraft, and then he's going to be able to, you know, allow me to get a lot of money. And they do that. They go through that road. Like, I heard recently, I was talking to my mom, and she said something about boys have to sleep. Guys, it's ridiculous. But how boys, you know, we have to get into sexual intercourse with the mothers, because that's what the witchcraft man has required in order for them to be successful, right? And sometimes if the mother is not, you know, in alignment with what they want, they will beat the mother. Yeah, it's happening. It's not just me saying. So it is crazy how much and how easy things look on social media, to the point where the younger generation now feels like, why do I have to hustle and bustle, right? I can just get the money like that. And not everybody is real on social media. I've already talked about it over and over again. Not everybody is telling you exactly what they're going through in real life. They only show you highlights of their life, because they'll be thinking, oh, I want to go on a private jet. If you guys know how to get on a private jet, let me know, so that I can also enjoy private jet life, and without spending that money, okay? Because we're not there yet. We're not spending that money yet. But anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. How, you know, unfortunately things, I mean, the state of things, you know, the mindset, everything that's going on nowadays. It's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, I'm not talking on behalf of all the youngsters. I'm just saying there are many of them that I talk on a regular basis, and I wish more Cameroonians were like that, where they just, you know, pray to the God. Okay, God, please give me the power of discernment so that I can recognize the right opportunity and I can seize them at the right time. Give me the power of, you know, being resilient so that I can go through all the challenges that are going to be on my way. And I wish that more Cameroonian, more younger Cameroonian, the younger generation could actually think like that and be like that, and just be a prayerful, you know, warrior. Because you can just be a prayerful warrior and then you work hard and smart, because it's really important, not just working hard but also working smart. But anyway, just wanted to, you know, give my 2 cents on the topic. And yeah, that's it. I probably left out so many other things, guys. You already know. Sometimes I don't prep those conversations. It just comes. The Cameroonian says, ça sort comme ça sort. Okay? It's just coming out. I don't have a script. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't have a script. So sometimes I just get inspired and I'm like, let me just pull the camera and talk to you guys. And today was one of those days, okay? And yeah, so if you are one of the people working hard and smart, keep on doing it, okay? Anyway, I'm going to talk to you guys later. My nephew is here watching me record this video. He's smiling at me and all of this thing. He needs a snack, okay? Probably gonna give him some yogurt or some juice or whatever. Anyway, guys, I'll talk to you later. As usual, you know I love you. I love you. I love you.